So if you're stoning women after they've been
in the Bible, bro.
No.
I'm from Iran, and it happens now.
Okay, that's what we're. All right. Well, good day to you, fam. This is B.
This is D.
Bringing you the soul opinions of two everyday Christians.
Well, might look a little different. We did change our studio. That's why we didn't have a podcast on our normal Monday. We didn't have anything come out today. And our normal podcast on Thursday, you know, it'd be what, 4.5 or 5.5 right now. That won't be out either. What we're doing today is something new, and it's going to be EDC Reacts. Yeah,
and I think that it was pretty cool to see the reaction when we were talking about should Christians carry, and it seemed to really strike a chord. It has always struck a chord with us, struck a chord, and it seemed when people started to view that and to comment on that video, it made us think, man, maybe what we need to do is go out and see how do other things in the world, political world, in the munitions world, we'll say, how does that line up to biblically? You know, as far as just what EDC folks do. So we found something that we'd like to react to. I didn't realize that this the Jubilee Middle Ground, they've been around since like 2010.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and these Middle Ground videos are really cool because it's usually two sides, which is normally Democrat, Republican. Mm-hmm. They come together and then they try to find middle ground.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they have a good moderator, which at least from what I've seen in the past. So I think this one just came out yesterday. It's called Trump versus Harris 2024, and there's just different stances from what it looks like. I did see part of it earlier today. I was working, so I don't really remember much of it.
Our main objective maybe is to not, like, you know, bring a super biblical concept to what we're watching or be super spiritual. We are going to react to some of the craziness of these questions and mostly to the comments. I cannot wait.
That's going to be good.
We are going to dive into the comments and just fire away.
Does this mean I have to like be nice and I can't be? I'm a little passionate, as I say. I'm a little extra.
That's what this is for.
Okay.
I mean, you guys are going to see who we are, what we stand for. It's just a matter of time. Like, you know, all the big names, you know what they stand for. You know who they are as a person. And that's our goal. Well, I mean, we're not going to be someone that we're not. So I think we should just dive in.
Well, let's go. Let us go. So, middle ground. Tell us what we're talking about here.
The term third world is offensive to me, bro. Because you're talking about a subhuman.
No,
you're talking
it's not
about
that
people
it's a subhuman.
who aren't as developed as we are, so they're the third world.
So if you're stoning women after they've been
in the Bible, bro.
No.
I'm from Iran, and it happens now.
Okay, that's what we're. All right.
Well, starting off hot here, guys. I'll tell you that much. Yeah.
Well, I can see the guy in the blue sweater is going to be a little passionate about things.
Yeah, and it's not just about the snowflake generation or I'm offended because of this. And the other side is like, dude, it's happening right now. Like, you know, and then it just it's gonna be good to hear the views of two sides and especially experience. You can't argue experience.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
Today, another episode of Middle Ground. Hi, my name is John. I am the host of Radical Empathy, and I will be moderating today's episode between Harris supporters and Trump supporters. Our first prompt is, no matter what my candidate does, I will still vote for them.
Phew.
Bro.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
I mean,
Two
I'd be
Dems, one
lying if I
Republican.
said if Trump came out in a crowd and just started.
Stop. I think that guy just went up because no one else is going up. Okay. I'm going to be real careful of how I say things. I don't really am not here to offend anybody. But at the same time, Joe, the Trump supporter, okay, I think he just went out to sit down because he's like, dude, no one else is going up, and these two Dems are going up. You know, these two Harris sympathizers, they're going up. So it's like, I'm not just going to stand behind. So I really think, and I think that's what he's saying right now.
Yeah, and I'm actually glad to see that two of the Democratic voters or Harris voters didn't go up, because that tells me there are folks on that side.
There's hope.
Yeah. And if you are a Democratic voter, you know, vote blue no matter who. Again, we're not trying to necessarily offend. We may not see you say eye to eye, you know, on your standpoints, but we tend to feel, and I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I myself tend to feel from what I hear, what I see, is that it is that way. No matter what happens, they're just, whether they like their candidate or whether they despise the candidate on the other side of the aisle, they're going to vote for their candidate no matter what happens.
Yeah, and there's disagreements everywhere, right? Even scientists, NASA astronauts versus flat earthers. Like, there's still people that are going to be so bent on one subject or another. It doesn't matter. You can't sway them anyway. They have their mind made up. Yeah. And that's fine. But we can disagree as well and be human and be adults.
And I have more to say, but we'll get to a little bit more.
You know, yelling at people, calling them stupid, or like did something crazy that I wouldn't still vote for him. It would have to be like walk out in Times Square, shoot someone in the face kind of thing.
There you go.
Like, it would have to be something outrageous for me to not vote for him right now, and that is only because these are the only two choices I have, which sucks for us as American people. We should have a lot more choice in this. We should have had more debates. We should have had more people involved in the debates. It would take a lot for me not to vote for him, just because I care so much about securing our country and my right to own firearms.
Yeah.
So for me, we know Kamala's character, and so even thinking if she does the worst thing ever,
You
would I
don't.
still vote for her? Yeah, because I know the worst thing that she could do
don't
wouldn't
think
even
she
be the
does.
best thing that Trump does, right? Like, the bars are very different. In addition to that, of course I'm going to vote for her, because Trump is such a terrible alternative. I'm afraid to see what our country would look like.
I'm voting for Kamala for pragmatic reasons. January 6th made Trump ineligible in my eyes. He's a traitor. He disrupted 200 years of peaceful transfer of power for his own selfish reasons that he now admits that he lost by a whisker. Sarcastic.
Okay, hold on.
Well, hey, we can't.
I know. I just.
You remember, no matter what my candidate does, I'll still vote for them.
Right. So, and that's what he's saying. Okay. I mean, that's his decision. Fair enough. But did it happen that way, or is that how it was? Your perception that gets a little bit deeper, right?
There's a lot more to January 6th than what meets the eye.
And you know what's real quick, because we get back, so we're not just continuing interrupting this. But I watched part of that on because I saw the transfer of power, and when I saw stuff happening, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Why are they shooting, like the gas bombs, grenades out into the crowd? Because it didn't look that bad. From where all of the cameras, I'm like, it doesn't look that bad. What's going on? Something must be happening. And I watched for a while, and I was like, I don't really see anything happening. Obviously, there was some stuff happened. Obviously, bad stuff happened. But just from the cameras live, I didn't really see it that day. Anyway, I'll stop.
Sarcastically, according to him.
Let's bring in our disagreeers.
So they'll
I'll go
all
first
vote.
again. Like, one of these two people are getting in right now. My choice
This
is Kamala
one.
Harris. That doesn't mean that anything that she does is going to keep that support. My biggest issue right now is the genocide going on in Gaza, propagated by both the Trump administration and the Biden administration. You could say that prior to October 7th, there was peace going on between Israel and Gaza, as I've heard a lot of Trump supporters say. That's just factually inaccurate, especially with the Abraham Accords, especially with moving the embassy to Jerusalem. These are things that I'm very critical of Trump on, and I'm still having trouble announcing my support for Kamala Harris. It was a big moral decision to even come on the show in support of her. But that's because I don't support her again. I think that Donald Trump is going to be somebody that's far worse for the country than she will be.
So, did you know that this?
Hold on, Sheila. That was interesting because which is something that I think I just said a little bit ago. I feel like as a Democratic voter, they don't necessarily agree with Biden being a great choice. I mean, if you think he was, okay, whatever. I'm not going to try to judge you, but he was just too old. He didn't know what he was doing really. But it was more of, I don't think that I have a great candidate, but I feel that the other candidate, Trump, is a worse candidate. Therefore, I'm going to vote for the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, I would agree, but I'm just shocked more to see the first two that said no matter what happens or what my candidate does, I'm going to vote for him. The first two that came up are those proverbial like vote blue no matter who, and they don't even know what they're voting for or why they're voting for blue. It's grandma used to do it or blah 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 blah.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
that was the first level-headed like. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll support that.
Yeah. What was that guy's name? I don't remember. He's actually pretty sharp. I've seen him before in some other, like another episode, and he's actually really smart, very articulate, and seems very, very well put together. Doesn't just start arguing and yelling at somebody else.
Sure.
Somebody that's far worse for the country than she will be.
So, did you know that this is the lowest civilian to combatant death rate of any war in recent history? Did you know that?
Is this going to be a Gaza topic? I'm so ready to
I'm
go on
responding
Gaza. I'm so
to
ready.
that because I can't just let your
so
word
ready.
genocide go because it's not a genocide. If it was a genocide, it would have ended 2 days later and it would have been fine.
Sheila,
Everyone
I
would be
think
dead.
we'll have
so
to
it's not
keep
a
it
genocide.
at that, though.
Yeah,
Just for
that's
time's
fine.
sake, but I want to hear, going back to the prompt, you came in because you disagreed. You wouldn't vote for Trump unconditionally.
No, of course. I mean, I think as a moral human being that comes from a place of love with strong core values, I can't just give anyone, carte blanche that no matter what you do, you're going to have my love and support. But from, barring anything crazy like the situation that Joe mentioned, it's pretty much 100%. And actually, I am part of Jewish Voices for Trump, and I really appreciate all of the things that he's done for the Jewish people and for the state of Israel as well. So
The next prompt.
The only thing that I'll add to that segment is that if we can bring up any kind of biblical or spiritual standpoint, is that it's not good to just vote for your candidate always, especially if they're not aligning to your core beliefs.
Yeah.
And if Trump tomorrow decided to say, you know what, we're going to go ahead and reinstate Roe v. Wade, and it's going to be pro-choice, it's going to be we're going to legalize a lot more things, let in all the immigrants, and all of a sudden I'd be like, hold on, I have to rethink who the third candidate would be.
Right.
So
Yeah, for sure.